Residents and businesses say violence in Old Town is keeping people away and making the area even less safe. But who pulls the trigger in these crimes is not always clear. Welcome to KOIN 6 News at 10 o'clock on Portland CW. I'm Wayne Haverly, and we are following a deadly shooting in the Portland Entertainment District that left one person dead and two injured last Friday. There's a new civil lawsuit that claims a private security guard was the one who shot and killed 19-year-old Lauren Abbott Jr. and injured others outside of Mary's Club. Our Joelle Jones has been digging into this lawsuit. She joins us tonight live after speaking with a witness. Joelle.
Well, we are back on the corner of 5th Avenue in Couch, right next to where police say that shooting took place. And as you can see on the wall, here's messages for Lauren Abbott Jr., that 19-year-old who lost his life. It says, "Rest in peace, you will be missed." But that lawsuit was filed Thursday on behalf of Colby Ross, who claims he was one of the victims injured during last week's deadly shooting.
I was waiting to meet up with a coworker, and I was walking down, and I had my music going, and I audibly heard a rapid succession of shots.
Last week, Nicholas Blake said the shots fired were loud enough to drown out his music as he walked down Burnside Friday night.
And by the time I pulled my headphones out and figured out what was going on, people were scattering and screaming, and I heard a lot of screaming, and there was chaos. People were dashing across the streets.
Still rattled, Blake recalled the chaos that followed last week's deadly Old Town shooting, which police say claimed the life of 19-year-old Lauren Abbott Jr. and injured two others. And while police have not confirmed who fired the shots, a new civil lawsuit claims the alleged shooter works as a licensed professional security guard. The suit was filed on behalf of Colby Ross, who claims he was one of the people struck and injured by the gunfire. And while police have not yet named Ross as one of the two injured victims, we caught up with Chad Lisey, who said he helped provide aid to one of the victims, who he says was shot in the chest right in front of him.
Got down to help the guy out, and was telling him to compress it and just stay there, wait for the ambulance. And his friend was like, "No, we're taking him to the hospital. We'll get him hospital faster than before the ambulance get here."
Citing assault, battery, and negligence, Ross and his attorneys are asking for $5 million from that private security officer and two of his employers, who remain unnamed. In a statement, Ross's lawyers tell us, "We're able to use the court subpoena power to find out which corporate entities employed the killer on the night of the shooting."
Didn't sound like a regular semi-automatic weapon. It went off a lot faster, so I'd be really curious to see if he had some sort of a trigger bump or something on that gun. And if that was the case, he needs to be in prison for that. That's a federal crime.
When asked about his thoughts on the newly filed lawsuit and the prospect that the alleged shooter could be a security guard paid to protect, the former firefighter says,
"There's no such thing as a good guy with a gun. It just doesn't exist." So the so-called good guys with guns is when innocent people get killed.
Now, Lisey says after witnessing two shootings in this area, he has now decided to move out of Portland. We reached out to police to see if they could confirm any of the details in that civil suit, and they said they could not get us an update by the time of this broadcast. So far, police have not been able to confirm the identity of that shooter or if any arrests have been made. Reporting live from Old Town, I'm Joelle Jones, KOIN 6 News.